Let us see the next question. Prachi Ltd is a manufacturing company producing and selling a range of cleaning products to wholesale customers. It has three suppliers and two customers. Prachi Ltd relies on its clear funds forecast to manage its cash. You are an accounting technician for the company and you have been asked to prepare. Highlight the portion clear funds forecast for the period 7th of January to 11th of January 2021 inclusive. You have been provided with the following information. Receipt from the customer is given. Name of the customer is W Limited and X Limited. Credit terms are given to us. 1 calendar month and 0. And so on information is given. Then we have been provided with the information about the payment to the supplier. Then wages and salaries, other miscellaneous payments, other information, and you are required to prepare a clear funds forecast for the period 7th of January Monday to 11th of January Friday 2021 inclusive using the information provided. And then we have been provided with one more question that I would like to read later on. I request all of you to go through the question and then we are going to have a discussion of the question. Let me have some discussion before we proceed further. To explain the question, I take a small example. Let us assume that say I have my bank account in HDFC Bank. Let us say that today's date is 1st of August and bank balance that I have is rupees 20,000. On 1st of August, let us say that I deposit check of rupees 5,000 of State Bank of India. On 1st of August, I have bank balance of 20,000 and a deposit check of rupees 5,000 of State Bank of India. Let us say on 1st of August itself, in the evening, I visit ATM. I insert the card and the very first thing that I do is that say the balance inquiry. In the balance inquiry, say I find something like this. Ledger balance 25,000 and clear balance of 20,000. I request you to give answer in the chat box that say these two balances, how should I understand both of them? I repeat the information of the question. On 1st of August, my bank balance is 20,000. On the same day, I deposit a check of State Bank of India of 5,000. In the evening, I visit ATM and I can see that is I insert my card and I make inquiry of the balance. I find that so the balances are like this. Ledger balance is 25,000 and clear balance is 20,000. Then how should I understand about this? Over here we have to understand like this, that bank has given a message to me that the clear balance is 20,000, means if at all right now you have come to withdraw the balance, that is say the withdraw cash, then in that case we will allow you to withdraw an amount up to 20,000 rupees. Difference of the ledger balance and the clear balance, that is 5,000. This 5,000 is indicating that whatever the check that you have deposited is still in the clearing process. Once we get the clearing from the opposite bank, we will credit this 5,000 rupees to your account, and so your clear funds will increase from 20,000 to 25,000. As far as this ledger balance is concerned, that includes uncleared funds. Now proceeding further, listen me carefully. See what happens that's over here. We understand from the whatever the discussion that we have made so far, we understand something like this. There is a clear balance of 20,000, uncleared funds 5,000, and ledger balance is 25,000. That is what I understand. So that is what we understand. Now I am extending this the discussion further. On 1st of January, I deposited check of rupees 5,000, and I met one of my friend in afternoon, and he told me that Maulin, I am urgently in need of funds. Can you just give me rupees 22,000? That is what my friend told me. I said okay. What I thought that I already have 20,000 rupees in the bank balance. 5,000 rupees is the check that I have deposited. So I gave check of 22,000 rupees to my friend. On 2nd of August, he deposited this check in his bank account, and let us say that his bank account is HDFC Bank. Now my question to all students, I request you to write answer in the chat box. My question to all students is that whether this check will be cleared or this check will be dishonored. That is my question. Please write answer in the chat box. Friends, answer to the question is that this check will be dishonored. Why? The reason for that is my bank account is HDFC. My friend's bank account is HDFC. So what will happen? Soon after he will deposit the check, this check will be presented for the payment. My clear balance is only 20,000. However, the check amount is 22,000. That is the reason this check will be dishonored. That is what we understand. I should have taken care that I should have issued the check up to 20,000 rupees only, because my clear funds is only 20,000. This check which I have deposited is of State Bank of India, so it will take some time for clearance. That is the reason this check will be dishonored. Friends, in this question what is asked? You are required to prepare clear funds forecast for the period 7th of January to 11th of January. That is the question. So 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. For these 5 days, we are required to prepare the clear funds forecast. That is the question. We have been provided with certain transactions along with the clearing dates. So taking into account the clearing date, we are supposed to prepare a statement, and we are required to forecast that what would be the closing balance that we would be having on daily basis, the closing clear funds. Dear students, we understand that all the transactions in which we enter upon with the bank, they do not have the same clearing date. They have the different clearing dates. For example, you must have heard about the NEFT. You must have heard about RTGS. So these transactions are going to have the impact on the same day. There are certain transactions which are, suppose I deposit a check of the same bank, then the clearing is on the same date. If it is of a different bank, then it will take some time in the clearing. So whatever this time gap that we have is what we understand is given a technical name as the bank processing float. So the question says that you are required to read information of the question carefully, and you are required to make an estimation that say what we would be having as Prachi Limited clear funds on daily basis from 7th to 11th. So in short, we can say that say we are required to prepare the statement from passbook point of view. We are required to prepare the statement from a bank point of view. That say what would be the closing balance that say we would be having say on daily basis. That is what say we understand. Yeah, I request all of you to write down answer along with me. Heading write down clear funds. In that write down first point, in this question we have to calculate clear funds forecast on daily basis from 7th January to 11th January on daily basis. Second point, clear funds means an amount of funds that can be used by the company. Full stop. Third, all transactions do not have same clearing date. Full stop. Taking into account date of clearing, we have to find clear funds. Full stop. It means we will update the statement, comma, when effect is provided in passbook. Full stop. So now we'll prepare a table for clear funds forecast from 7th of January to 11th of January. So write down heading statement of clear funds forecast on daily basis. In bracket I am writing 7th of January to 11th of January. Column number 1 will be particulars. Opposite to that we will have date 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Day, it is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. As usual, we will start with the opening balance. We'll mention the opening balance as and when we come across to that information. First of all, we are focusing on the first information received from customers. I request you to write in the chat box. I know it is new, but still, I request you to write in the chat box, in case of W Limited, on which date, how much amount we should mention. For W Limited, on which date, how much amount should we mention? Let us have understanding. The question is providing the information like this. I am talking only about the W customer. W customer is a customer to whom we offer a credit period of 1 calendar month. Means whatever the goods which are sold on 7th of January, for that say we are going to receive the consideration after 1 month, that is on 7th of February. And the goods that we had sold before 1 month, for that say we will receive the payment today. So basically this 1,30,000 is relevant. So what is the first thing that you have to see is that say based on the credit period, what is the amount relevant. Now how does it make payment to us? It makes payment to us using BACS payment method. What is BACS? They have explained it to us. Receipt of money by BACS, Bankers Automated Clearing Services, is like instant. Immediately you will receive the payment. That is what they have provided. So we will mention over here W customer. On 7th itself we are going to receive the payment of 1,30,000 for the goods that we had sold on 7th of December. Like that we understand. Again I request you to write in the chat box that against X customer, on which date, how much amount should I write? Please write your answer in the chat box. Friends, over here the question is providing the information that we do not offer any credit to X Limited. So whatever the goods that we had sold in the previous month, for that say we would have received the amount. Whatever the goods that we are selling today, for that we will receive the amount today. That is 1,80,000. So first of all, again you have to recognize that say which amount is relevant. Now how does it make payment to us? It makes payment to us via check. The question says that estimated check will be paid. Dear students, the term paid stands for will be deposited into Prachi Limited's bank account on the same day as the sale is made. So sale is made on 7th, you will receive the check on 7th, you will deposit the check on 7th, and will clear on the 3rd day following this. Highlight the portion excluding the date of payment. Means excluding the date of deposit. The term payment stands for deposit. So we understand that it is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Something like that I am writing randomly. The question says that so you are required to ignore 7th. 3rd day means 1, 2, 3 on 3rd day. So we will be having the 10th received from X Limited an amount of 1,80,000. That is what we understand. Now payment to supplier, in that I want you to write in the chat box what amount will be paid to B Limited, to B Limited, and on which date. Let us read the information. Payment to supplier B Limited. B Limited is offering us credit terms of 2 calendar months. Means whatever the goods that we have purchased in the month of January, that will be paid in the month of March. The goods that we had purchased in the preceding month, that is December, that will be paid in the next month, that is in the month of February. And the goods that we had purchased before 2 months, that will be paid right now, that is in the month of January. So first of all, we are required to identify which amount is relevant. That is the first step. Second step is you have to see the payment method. The payment method is provided as check. A and B, second information is relevant to us. Prachi Limited will send out by post check to B Limited, check to C Limited on 7th of January. The amount will leave its bank account on the second day following this, excluding the date of posting. So the question says that so you are required to exclude the date of posting. So let us again do something like this. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, something like this I am writing. So we are required to exclude the date of posting, means we are required to exclude the 7, and it has been given second day following this, first and second. So 9th we are required to mention the payment of 75,000. That is what we understand. So 9th we will write like this. It is A, B and C. And on 9th we will be writing an amount of 75,000. I request you to write in the chat box against C supplier on which date, how much amount. So basically we understand that say for C supplier does not offer any credit to us. Means whatever the goods that we had purchased in the preceding month, that we would have paid in the same month. Whatever the purchase that we have of the January will be paid in January. So again we identify which amount is relevant. Now we understand that C Limited is also, that is we make payment to C Limited via check, and the same information is provided to us. So we would be having the payment on 9th to C Limited. So I request you to write down answer. Payment to C Limited, it is an amount of rupees 95,000. That is what we understand. Next, as far as A is concerned, I want you to write for A supplier on which date, how much amount. Let us have understanding how to write adjustment for A supplier. As far as A supplier is concerned, it is offering 1 calendar month credit to us. Means apparently this amount of the payment is relevant. That is purchases before 1 month. The question says that say we are going to have the payment to A Limited as per standing order. Sir, what is standing order? Standing order is very similar to, you might have that is heard something like called EMI, equal monthly installment. You might have heard about SIP, systematic investment plan. So whatever these like the payments are there, say it is without any intervention. You already have told to the bank that say this is the amount which is supposed to be paid to this organization or to this institution on monthly basis. So similar to that is a standing order. Let us read the information. Prachi Ltd has set up, highlight the portion, a standing order for rupees 45,000 a month to pay for supplies from A Limited. This will leave Prachi's bank account on 7th of January. Every few months, an adjustment is made to reflect actual cost of the supplies purchased. Highlight the portion. You do not need to make this adjustment. That is what they have provided. So let us have understanding of the question. That is information of the question. The information of the question is given like this. Prachi Limited has given an instruction to accounts department that irrespective of the purchase, on 7th of every month, you have to pay 45,000 to A Limited. Irrespective of the purchase, on 7th of every month, you have to pay 45,000 to A Limited. So basically what we have to do, so from our answer point of view, we have to pay 45,000 rupees to A Limited irrespective of the purchase. But of course it sounds to be illogical. Let's say every month 45,000, ignoring the purchase. Is it foolish? No, it is not like that. Basically between A Limited and Prachi Limited, there is an agreement like this. Maybe both of them are sister concern. So there is an agreement like this, that what Prachi Limited and A Limited will do, they will see after a regular interval, maybe after every 3 months, maybe after every 6 months, maybe once in a year, they will see what is the purchase and what are the payments. Are they same or they are different? If at all the purchases and the payments are same, then there is no problem. However, if at all the purchases are more, then in that case, whatever the deficit in the payment, that Prachi will pay to A Limited. And suppose the payments are more, then in that case, A Limited will refund or will say the pay back, so the excess amount that the A Limited has received. Like that, they have provided. Let us read the language of the question with the explanation that I have given to you. Prachi Limited has set up a standing order for rupees 45,000 a month to pay for the supplies from A Limited. This will leave Prachi's bank account on 7th of January. Every few months, an adjustment is made to reflect the actual cost of the supplies. Now what is this every few months? Maybe once in 3 months, maybe once in 6 months, maybe once in 9 months, maybe once in a year, or maybe any other frequency, we don't know. Every few months, an adjustment is made to reflect the actual cost of the supplies. Very importantly, they have given a very good clarification. You do not need to make this adjustment. Means whatever this adjustment that I have explained to you, so that logically we understand that why do they do like this. That adjustment is not required to be done by you. Means irrespective of the value of the purchase, we have to pay 45,000 rupees on 7th. This purchases may be of any value. We are not concerned with that. We just have to pay 45,000 rupees on 7th. I request you to put adjustment for the wages and salaries in the table and put your answer in the chat box. Let us see wages and salaries. In that, we have been provided with the information weekly wages and monthly salary for December month and for January month. The question is providing the information Factory workers are paid cash wages on the weekly basis. They will be paid 1 week's wages on 11th of January for the last week work done in the month of December. That is, they work a week in hand, like that information is given. So friends, over here, simply we understand on 11th of January, that is Friday in our example, we'll pay last week's wages of December. December month, weekly wages is 12,000. So we have to consider over here payment of wages. On 11th, we will mention an amount of rupees 12,000. Next, just one more point that I want to explain over here. Students have number of times a kind of question that, sir, how do we understand a term that is they work a week in hand? So basically it is like this. When a worker is coming and worker is working in the first week, we don't pay anything to the worker. Second week, again we don't pay anything. Third week, when he completes the work, we make the payment of the wages of the first week. In the fourth, we pay the wages of the second. In fifth, we pay the wages of the third, and so on. And we have told him, let's say whenever you want to leave the factory, you just give a proper notice period to us. If at all you give proper notice period to us, then in that case we will pay the wages to you for this time period in between. If you don't pay, that is if at all you don't give the notice, then in that case we will not make this payment to you. That kind of instruction is given to him. We have done something like this because many a times we might have observed in the past that, say, if at all we pay the wages immediately, then they don't give proper notice period at the time of leaving factory. So this is only for understanding purpose. We don't have to do anything with respect to that. Now all office workers are paid salary on a monthly basis by using bankers automated clearing services. Salary for December will be paid on 7th of January. So December salary 56,000 will be paid in the month of January. So we will have over here salary 56,000 rupees. That will be paid on 7th. That's very simple. BACS will have the effect immediately. That is what they already have specified. Fourth, other miscellaneous payments. There are 4 adjustments that they have provided. I request all of you to incorporate all the 4 adjustments and put your answers of all of them together in the chat box. 4A, every Monday morning, petty cashier withdraws rupees 200 from the company's bank account for petty cash. The money leaves the Prachi's bank account straight away. So the information is given that, say, through petty cash, say, withdrawal is made. For petty cash, withdrawal is made, I'm sorry. So petty cash withdrawal, it is 200. Dear students, basically what happens at, say, this is given a technical name as a contra entry, wherein from the bank the cash is withdrawn. So we will be having, say, that amount within the business only. However, this statement is prepared from the passbook point of view. That is the reason, say, we are considering this adjustment for preparation of the statement. In normal cash budget we would not have considered it, but over here we will consider because we have to forecast the clear funds forecast. B, information. Room cleaner is paid rupees 30 from petty cash every Wednesday morning. So the information is provided to us that every Wednesday morning 30 rupees is paid. So This is room cleaner is paid out of petty cash. So this information will be ignored. We will ignore this information. Why? Because it is not paid out of the bank balance. It is paid out of petty cash. Office stationery will be ordered by telephone on Tuesday 8th of January to the value of 300. This is paid for by company's debit card. Such payments are generally seen to leave company's bank account on the next working day. So on 8th you will scratch and it will have the impact on 9th. So we will be having the payment for office stationery, an amount to be paid on 9th, that is 300 rupees. Next, 5 new softwares will be ordered over internet on 10th of January. So on 10th of January, you will place an order at a total cost of 6,500. A check will be sent out on the same day. On 10th, you place order. On 10th, you send a check. The amount will leave Prachi's bank account on the second day following this. Highlight the portion excluding the date of posting. So what will happen, it is 10, 11 and 12. We have to exclude 10th and we have to consider 11th and 12th. This is first day and this is second day. However, 12th is not supposed to be considered in the statement. That is the reason we will ignore this. Other information. The balance on the Prachi's bank account will be 2 lakhs on 7th of January. So we have been provided with the information that the opening balance is an amount of 2 lakhs of rupees. Okay. This represents both book balance and this is important, that is clear funds. You are required to prepare, and this is what we have done successfully. Clear funds forecast for the period 7th of January to 11th of January 2021 inclusive, using the information provided. So now we will compute the closing balance on the daily basis and that will become the opening balance of the next day. So the opening balance is 2 lakhs plus 1,30,000 minus 45,000 minus 56,000 minus 200. So we would be having the closing balance 2,28,800. That is the opening balance of the next day. We can see that in the passbook there is no entry on 8th. So the opening and closing balance would be same. The 9th opening would be same, 2,28,800 minus 75,000 minus 95,000 minus 300. So the closing balance is 58,500. That is the opening balance of the next day. Plus 1,80,000. That is 238,500. That is opening balance of the next day. Minus 12,000. So the closing balance is 226,500. This is the way the closing cash balance, that is, so the closing balance can be calculated on the each day on the clear funds forecast basis. Please write an answer. Now let us understand further question. Show clearly the uncleared fund float each day? That is a question. Now, what is the second part of the question has a meaning? I'm explaining that to you first of all. Before we go for understanding of the answer, I would like to give you explanation of the question. Dear students, we understand, so there are two sets of the records. One is what we maintain, and that is what we understand is a kind of bank book, and another is what bank is maintaining, and that is given a name as passbook. Now, as far as the passbook is concerned, passbook is being updated. The passbook is say being like transaction is recorded in the passbook based on the date of the clearing. While in the bank book, say we are writing the transaction, we are recording the transaction based on the date on which the transaction has entered upon. For example, we are say depositing a check in the bank. Soon after we deposit the check, we record the same say in the bank book. But that is not the case as far as say the passbook is concerned. In the passbook, the transaction would be recorded say when the check is actually getting clear. What I want to tell you friends is that say because of this kind of timing gap, there is say a possibility that the balance as per the bank book and the balance as per passbook, they do not match. That is what we understand. So in the second part of the question, we are required to prepare a reconciliation statement. What does the term reconciliation statement mean? It means that we are required to calculate that what must be the balance as per the books of accounts from passbook balance. From passbook, we have to compute the balance as per the books of accounts, and that is what say we are going to do in the second part of the question. The question says that say show clearly uncleared fund float. Uncleared fund float means so the checks which are in the process of the clearing. That is what we understand is a uncleared fund float each day, or the transactions which are say in clearing is called uncleared fund float each day. Please write down answer. Heading write down uncleared fund float. In that write down first point, in books of accounts comma any transaction is recorded based on date of entering into transaction. That is date of deposit of check of customer or date of issue of check to supplier and so on. Second point, in passbook a transaction is recorded based on date of clearing. Full stop. With paragraph write down, due to this, there is a difference between balance of both books of account. Balance of both set of records. Full stop. Over here, we have to prepare a reconciliation statement and balance as per books of accounts is required to be found. Full stop. This is what we are required to do. Now friends, before we write the answer which is required from the examination point of view, I am going to prepare a small table. I am going to calculate that what should be the balance as per books of accounts on daily basis. Yes, what I am going to do, I am going to prepare a statement to compute the what must be the balance in the books of accounts on the daily basis. We have been provided with the language of the question very clearly that 2 lakh rupees is the balance. It is not only the clear funds, it is the balance as per the books of accounts as well. So you can see that this 2 lakh rupees is the balance as per books of accounts also. So what I have opening balance, I have all the transactions. So I'll calculate first of all, so the balance as per the books of accounts. That is what I'm going to do. And then from the examination point of view, whatever the statement which is required to be prepared, that is uncleared fund float each day, in a simple language it is a reconciliation statement that we are going to do. So I request all of you to write down answer along with me. Preparation of daily closing balance as per books of accounts. In that, date 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Day Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And over here particulars. We start as usual with the opening balance, which is provided an amount of 2 lakhs. I want you to write in the chat box that receive from customers. For both the customers, I want you to write in the chat box on which date how much amount we will mention. So friends, over here we have to understand the adjustment like this. For W Limited, we will consider 1,30,000 on 7th itself because the payment is by BACS. So for W Limited, we will show the payment on the 7th itself, that is an amount of 1,30,000. And for say the customer X, we understand that say the check has been deposited on 7th. So we are required to consider the effect on the 7th itself, and the amount will be 1,80,000. Because when we have deposited check is important. And remember that say in case of W Limited, whatever the goods that we have sold on the credit, for that the entry will be W Limited account debited to sales account. Whatever the amount that we receive from the customer will only be taken into account, that is bank account debited to W Limited. Fine. Proceeding further, payment to the supplier. I want you to tell me for all the three suppliers on which date we will mention. So friends, over here for A Limited, we have to show 45,000 on 7th because it is standing order. For B Limited, it is 75,000 again on 7th. And for C Limited, it is 95,000 again on 7th. Because checks are issued to both of them on 7th of January itself. So payment to the supplier, in that it is A, B, C, 45, 75 and 95. That is what we are required to mention. For wages and salaries, again put your answer in the chat box along with the date. In wages and salaries, it is very simple. It is 12,000 rupees and 56,000 rupees. So it is wages 12,000 rupees on 11th, and salary 56,000 rupees on 7th. That is simple adjustments. Fourth one, I request you to put your answer in the chat box. So effect of the 200 will be on 7th itself. This will not have the effect because it is not affecting the bank balance. This will have effect on the 8th, and importantly this will have the effect on 10th. Okay, it is not supposed to be ignored over here right now. So we will show over here petty cash withdrawal, that is 200 rupees. Then we have office stationery, 300 on 8th. Purchase of software on 10th, it is 6,500. These are the three payments that we are supposed to make. Opening balance we already have written. So this is not, so we understand is the closing balance as per books of accounts on the daily basis, starting from 7th to 11th. Please write an answer. So let us start with the answer. It is 2 lakhs plus 1,30,000 plus 1,80,000 minus 45,000 minus 75,000 minus 56,000 minus 200. That is the way so the balance is calculated. So balance is found like this: 2 lakhs plus 1,30,000 plus 1,80,000 minus 45,000 minus 75,000 minus 95,000 minus 56,000 minus 200. It is 238,800. This is a closing of 7th, is opening of 8th. 238,800. On 8th there is only one entry, so the closing balance is 238,500. Closing of 8th is opening of 9th. It is 238,500. Closing of 9th is 238,500. Opening of 10th 238,500 minus 6,500. So the closing is 2,32,000. The closing of 10th is opening of 11th. 2,32,000 minus 12,000. That comes to 2,20,000. So this is the way the closing balance is calculated on daily basis, say from 7th to 11th as per books of accounts. But this is not the answer which they have asked for. They have asked that say you require to prepare a reconciliation statement. So now the reconciliation statement starts. Heading right down. Preparation of uncleared fund float each day. Full stop. In simple language we can say it is bank reconciliation statement. Okay. Now how to prepare it? Let us have understanding of the same. Dear students, over here we have to start preparing the reconciliation statement, taking the clear funds balance into account. So again we will have date 7 to 11, day Monday to Friday. In that balance as per clear balance, or we can say that's the balance as per passbook on 7th Monday. Okay, we will be writing the balances like this. These are the balances that say we are supposed to mention on the daily basis. So the closing balance of 7th is an amount of 228,800. Closing balance of 8th again 228,800. Closing balance of 9th 58,500. Closing balance of 10th is 238,500. Closing balance of 11th is 226,500. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now over here, let us have understanding, let us have discussion that which transactions will come in reconciliation. Friends, here is clear funds forecast. I want you to write in the chat box that say from all these transactions, tell me at least one transaction which will not come in the reconciliation statement. Friends, over here, the transactions which will not form part of the reconciliation are received from W Limited, Why? Because the day on which it is recorded in the books of accounts, on the same day credit is there in the passbook. Payment to A Limited. Why? Because there is no timing gap. A transaction will come in the reconciliation statement only if there is a timing gap, say between the date of recording in the books of accounts and the date of recording in the passbook. This 12,000 will not be there, 56,000 will not be there, 200 will not be there. These transactions will not form part of the reconciliation statement. My next question to all of you is that receipt from X Limited will form part of the reconciliation statement. I want you to tell me in the chat box that receipt from X Limited will remain in the reconciliation statement for how many days? So importantly, we understand that say this amount of 1,80,000 will remain in the reconciliation for 7th, 8th and 9th. For 3 days it will remain in the reconciliation statement. In a way that say until the effect of say any transaction which is recorded in the books of accounts, its effect comes in the passbook. Till that point of time, it will remain in the reconciliation statement. So we start the reconciliation statement like this. Add. Now, I request all of you to write down answer along with me. Uncleared receipt float. In that we will write for X Limited 1,80,000 in 7th, 1,80,000 in 8th and 1,80,000 in 9th. So it will remain in the reconciliation for 3 days, 7, 8 and 9. Less uncleared payment float. Okay. Now in uncleared payment float, payment to B and payment to C will remain in reconciliation for 2 days. Then payment for purchase of the office stationery will remain in reconciliation for 1 day. So over here we will be having payment to B Limited and payment to C Limited. The amount will be an amount of 75,000. Amount will be an amount of 95,000. Okay, these are the two payments that we have to show. Next, office stationery. As per the given information, the debit card was scratched on, I think that's it was 8th, but its effect was there on the 9th. So we are required to show only on 8th, that is 300. Now importantly friends, as far as the software is concerned, for that the check was issued on 10th, but it will be presented on 12th. So it will form part of the reconciliation for 10th and 11th. That is an important adjustment. Purchase of software. On 10th it is 6,500 and on 11th it is again 6,500. Now based on this, we'll compute the closing balance as per books of accounts. That is what we are required to mention. So now friends, you will understand like this: 228,800 plus 1,80,000 minus 75,000 minus 95,000. So this is the balance as per books of accounts, that is 2,38,800. Now on 8th what will happen? Again 228,800 plus 1,80,000 minus 75,000 minus 95,000 minus 300. So the closing balance must be 238,500. Next 58,500 plus 1,80,000, that comes to 238,500. Okay. Next 238,500 minus 6,500, it is 2,32,000. Next 226,500 minus 6,500, that comes to 2,20,000. Now friends, what you can do, you can have a cross verification of the answer. See, we already have calculated the balance as per the books of accounts by preparing a working note. See, 238,800 and 238,800, it is same. 238,500 and 238,500, same. 238,500 and again 238,500, same. 232, 220, 232, 220. This is a way you can have a kind of verification of the answer. Friends, from examination point of view, definitely there is no need to make this calculation. The reason that I have prepared this working note is that as a student you will have a clarity, let's say, what we are doing. Because number of times what happens, let's say, when I show this calculation directly, then students are not able to understand, let's say, what is going on. They feel a difficulty to understand, let's say, the information of the question. That is the kind of working that we have done. That is the reason I started preparing the working note which I have shown above. But in examination you don't have to prepare it directly, you have to prepare the reconciliation statement. I request you to write down a note for the answer. First point, in the second part of the question, we have to prepare a working note. In which balance as per books of accounts is to be calculated from passbook balance. While preparing a reconciliation statement, comma, we will write on A, ignore transactions that have effect in passbook, comma, on the same day as books of accounts. B. Transactions for which there is a timing difference, comma, will be forming part of reconciliation statement. Full stop. Next point. Importantly, a transaction will form part of reconciliation till the time its effect is not recorded in passbook. Full stop. So friends, it is a question wherein we have understanding of a new concept, and that is given a name as the clear funds forecast. First of all, we have understood the clear funds forecast means the amount of the funds which you can actually use. Over here, first of all, we have understood that's in the question we have been provided with that is the transactions, date on which the transaction is entered upon, and the date on which it will have the clearing in the passbook is provided to us. Taking into account the date on which it will have the impact on the passbook, we have to prepare the clear funds forecast. We can say that the transaction for A Limited was quite important considering the language of the question. All other things also for which the adequate information is given to us. In the second part of the question, we are supposed to prepare the reconciliation statement. Before we move to the reconciliation statement, first of all, I made you prepare the balance as per the books of accounts. That is what we have calculated. And afterwards, we have calculated, we have prepared the reconciliation statement. Importantly, understand that a transaction will form part of the reconciliation only if there is a time gap, say between the date on which it is recorded in the books of accounts and the date on which it is having the impact in the passbook. The second thing that we understand, it will remain in the reconciliation till the time its effect is not recorded in the passbook. Purchase of the software is an important transaction in this question because it will not form part of the clear funds forecast, but it will form part of the reconciliation statement. So that on third point. Purchase of software will form part of reconciliation, comma, not clear funds forecast. full stop. That is what we understand.